哎，哦呀，OK，yes。我上节就当昨节成忙了，想就把它大年加送去，大概就说几遍算了，到那边去上节就把说上节就当昨节成忙。想就把它大年加送去，大概就说几遍算了。来这三界诸法说三界觉当作界正当，强求把道大内加松切，大概接受几别三，到了本觉三诸法说，心界当界dewa当地位就当天不来就。Dungala da dunga je judan talwala juj Dungala mepen dewa da mindawa juje Nire Tawe dangyala neba juro je Lama dan jambe yang gube janza loi Gangxie janjo xinhua zhong 对对，公家萨达卡拉根家节，老些东东当年考了没大的，看的天外前边吧，如着南巴出些到的没到大，上去我都这怎吧那前边都反正走个三年。看见的那个扎在，今天现在的那多上单手，可这边上着当把土接，啥呀能把出作业简单组织来做，这他真的恐不拉这上的写了，他前边跑了清楚就扎死。周元当波当巴，这边开发当家干，就拿心多多巴，目的开发他打仗，这来去接天巴，你们越先进来啊，能把更多名了。早来去了，大家去见送了新给，而且今天这把送到江州古巴就来那么我的了，土巴刚面出克拉那他说结巴那就。茶花头发的那个直接旁在去了。姐姐送着去年，各位同志，我大家西边是了马多，不是单位不不当，一天不是名字，接了分吧叫我，人民到家结算了，我叫了大家。姐姐日月多瓦达，莫得马勒房子。年月老马张门着家在当巴弄的，年天来做东瓦，秋节元旦人日，想就来到酒吧打拉洋去了大家，哎呀，老马下了多的。强把家子当包子，生些熟些的子，姐姐人的没节子，谁的人的同位，家里小孩谁姐姐，妹妹年纪不是过姐姐，今年这今天能把去年白西北进来的人。我去了大山上，在大周围，这不让性别同居那种， Chungden zowe sanje tebai, lowe kenjen nyoto tobai shu. Paden zawe lama limbo, Dargye choro demen desho, Katen jimbe gone chesan, Kosan tukye ngadu, Sado so kanga tukye marwa jabo, Nima yoga nyeje sa nyime lim, Rabge tumo do tudo wanjo cha, Tuje Chenpo Tangde Tando Shenje Dende Namja Wangjo Sakya Ba Gunga Laja Za Suna Pame Leto Chenpe Rabia Man Dove Zala Chajuro Sanan Chemo Laja Za Chenam Kunje Tenye Sang Jadu Palo Doje Zimba Kunje Jangze Lacha Zai Shija Tamje Zube Jenya Dogen Gelen Drube Doje Sanye Tenen Zebe Tonga Jamge Lame Shavla Geja Zai Tade Gando Zambe Number Zube Dude Tamje Chemba Dan Zalin Tembe Tabo Nasa Cheja Pabe Shab Soan De Kangshe Tebe Lame Tsona Sede Tado Soan Deje Nan Daso Jula Lamai Ye Zebe Jilan Juba Shoy Jua Kendo Yanda Lama Rami Chuje Pala Longje Sada Lam Yande Razo Doje Cham Yoda Joy Chenam Teje Kanda Nebe Sajoza Nede Oba Tabde Shiva Chedan Dashi Pewa Zedo Beja Chusha Meda Rani Nide Nyambat Sanje Shendo Mikde Kuwa Dogen Namda Shendo Shewa Shuja Namje Samba Loye Cheda Chidawa Chijang Kama Tewa Chije Korolo Korodu. Okay. Namaya Lai Kenam Lutan Jinke, Tupum Talame, Kenam Down, Dokunji, Danam Chizamba, Tamjike, Dargye Jorden. So when we think about Dharma practice, first, I think most important thing is we have to have some ideas of what is Dharma that we are practicing. What does Dharma practice mean, actually? Dharma is a Sanskrit word which actually has a lot of meaning, right? Maybe altogether 9 meaning it is mentioned. And similarly, that word Dharma from Sanskrit is translated into Tibetan as Chö, which also has 9 meanings. So just right there, I mean, just comparing with these two languages, how close they are, and so that's why uh, Dharma translating from Sanskrit into Tibetan gets that close. And then think about other languages, trying to translate the meaning from Sanskrit into other languages. And can you guess how much, or can you imagine how much you get closer to the meaning, and also how much we get lost, or we lose the meaning by translating into different languages. For example, right now, the medium that I'm using is English language, but my topic is Dharma. But I don't know how much I am able to convey the real meaning of the Dharma. I mean, for example, Dosai Chinsumichi always really think about and talks about very common language or words that now we use, for example, enlightenment, or many other things. These are actually existing words in different culture, different tradition, and we learn them, we use them in order to convey the message of the Buddha. But we really don't know how much it is getting to those people. For example, I studied Buddha Dharma in Tibetan language, and my understanding is based on the feeling of the language itself, Tibetan language. So when I try to convey that same message, same feeling that I have, and trying to share this with other people in different language, I don't know how much I'm actually passing to other people. So that's why there are many things to think about. But in the Arya Vasubandhu summarize Dharma into two, and he says, talking about the teachings of the Buddha, there are two, meaning it can be categorized into two categories. And that is, the first one is to call agama, or the transmission teaching, teaching that is kind of transmitted through words. The other, that is one teaching. When we say, I practice Dharma, I practice teaching, meaning that. The other one is those who practice Dharma, what they go through, what they experience when the realization that they never had before. But practicing Dharma, you have certain realization. So that realization is the other aspect of the Dharma. So therefore, when we say, I practice Dharma, means you are doing something with these two things. First, the teaching the Dharma, which you study, which you listen to other people's words, is by just doing that, like studying that, by receiving teachings, listening to the teachings. The other aspect of the Dharma is through the meditation. You have to have experience. You have to go through that experience. That is the other part. So that's why Vasubandhu said that the teachings of the Buddha are divided into two. One is the transmission teaching, the other one is the realization. To uplift, to practice that Dharma, these two Dharma, means then talk about, teach this, right? What you learn, what you study, what you listen from other people, you teach this to other people is one way. The Then other one is putting it into practice, putting it into meditation, bhavana, meaning like a contemplation, and then placing your mind in the deep sense of what this dharma, what this realization is all about, and then remaining in that state of the mind for a long period of time, and then getting used to it, and then hopefully you will get better and better. One day your whole state of the mind is going to be that state of tranquility and peace and freedom and all of those things. So that's why in Tibetan is tembe tamchu namni te lungtang tokbe dani to tenzin cheba ma chetang duba cheba khona yin. So only by these two ways, two means, you can study, you can practice Dharma, right? So think about that when we say I practice Dharma, I study Dharma. But the main thing, I think the word Dharma, the Sanskrit also, the primary meaning of that word is there, but Tibetan is che, which also has that, which means what? Which means to repair, to change, meaning through this, by using Dharma, through the practice of the Dharma, then one can repair one's state of the mind. One can change one's state of the mind from be very easily getting angry to a very tranquil kind of a peaceful person. Be very stingy person to a very generous person, right? Be always like an agitating person to a very calm, abiding person. So that's why whether someone's Dharma practice is working, whether really one is on the right path, one is doing the right practice or not, really time to time you have to check yourself, your state of mind. Are you better now in terms of your own well-being, in terms of how you behave, how you think, how you interact with people, right? How you treat your spouse, your family members, your friends, your neighbors. Do you see any changes with you by getting into Dharma, by practicing Dharma? And if you do see some changes, that means you are on the right path and your practice is working. If not, then you really have to rethink. Maybe your practice is not doing well, you are not on the right path, or you are maybe not putting the right kind of attitude or right skillful means, method into it. So that is the thing that we have to check all the time, every now and then, because the Dharma has to make some changes with you, some improvement with your own life. Otherwise, why waste time, right? So that's why that has to be the goal. But in order to achieve that goal, first you really have to know what is Dharma proper and how to practice Dharma. It's the same thing, like for example, if you want to become very good with computer, you have to know computer, then you can utilize it, right? Then later on when you are working with computer, it's not a big job, it's not a trouble because it's very easy. Similarly, Dharma has to be something very comfortable at the same time, which makes you, happy, which makes you a different person, nice person, right? So it's simple in a way. You don't really need to prepare too much. Everything's with you. You have to deal with. You have to really be familiar with yourself, your own mind. Your mind from certain state to a different state.
So that is right there with you all the time. You have no excuse. Dharma practice doesn't mean you have to be in a very proper shrine room, right? You don't need that. While you are riding bus or train, you can also do a very good Dharma practice right there, particularly amongst a lot of people. Then you can think, you can see those people, that each one of them have their own goals, what they want, what they don't want, you already know somewhat. Everybody wants happiness. Nobody wants suffering. That is universal. That much you can determine, right? However, look at each one of them, how they are trying to get that happiness and trying to get rid of the suffering by means of different skillful method of their own, like, and thinking that my way is the right way and his or her way is the wrong way. That is how we get completely lost in samsara, aiming for one thing, but not knowing how to get it. Instead, we get confused and we lost in the midst of searching for such thing. So, but simple thing is only you don't have to look further. You have to look at your mind, right? And that's where you can really know what to do, how to improve, right? And by knowing one's own mind, you will also then know what to do with other people, how you can help other people. So that's why our goal is happiness, and also another goal is to get rid of suffering. But there are many different kinds of happinesses. But what we are looking for example, the prayers that we read this morning and even right now, we are not just looking for any kinds of any possible happiness. We are really looking for the ultimate happiness, long-lasting happiness. Ultimate happiness, long-lasting happiness means the Buddhahood, the state of the Buddhahood. Because the other so-called happinesses are mundane happinesses. Those are not lasting happiness. Those are not actually happiness. When you look into them very carefully, they also end up being suffering rather than happiness. There are many different ways of investigating and analyzing it. How you know that those are also suffering, not happiness. But this morning we are talking about may I attain Buddha, which is the Samyak Sambuddha in Sanskrit, means perfected, that very unsurpassable, perfect Buddhahood. That is the final achievement we are looking for. We are not even looking for arhatship. Of course, arhatship is a very, very wonderful thing. It's completely free from suffering. But then there is also some parts of qualities are lacking. So that's what we don't want. We want everything the best, right? So that's why Samyak Sambuddha is our goal. And in order to achieve that, as I said, you have to know proper cause and conditions. And what is the cause and condition? In terms of the Mahayana practice, there are two things. To fulfill one's own goal, one's own purpose, and to fulfill purpose of other people. In order to serve, in order to fulfill the purpose of others, then there are the Mahayana practice so-called four gatherings. Four gatherings meaning four means of attracting other people, because in order for you to be able to help other people, those other people have to like you first. So that's why you have to attract them. When they get closer to you, when they trust you, then you can help them, right? So that's why there are four means to do that. Then in order to fulfill one's own purpose, then the six paramita, although there are many things you can do, but six paramitas are one set of practices that were recommended by bodhisattvas on the bodhisattva path. But actually, the goal of attaining perfect Buddhahood or Sambuddha state of Buddhahood, you have to have a perfection of two collections. There's so-called, what you do on the practice path, on the path. In your practice, what you are doing is you are actually collecting, you are gathering the causes and conditions for this Buddhahood to be achieved. And those causes and conditions are called two collections. And two collections are called the collection of merit and collection of wisdom. So you have to have these two. So without two, the one will not do. So two of these two collections are like two wings of a bird. So when bird has two wings intact, then that bird can fly and reach its destination. So one, wing is healthy and sound, other is not, then it cannot, right? It cannot reach to the destination. Similarly, in the Mahayana practice, you have to have these two collections, collection of merit and collection of wisdom, equally kind of sound, equally full, perfect. Okay? So, the collection of merit first is all these different through different kinds of practices, like generating loving kindness to other people, and bodhicitta, and also the 6 practices of these 6 paramitas, like giving, morality, like discipline, moral discipline, and then effort or diligence, then patience, and then samadhi, which means meditative concentration, and then the 6th one is called wisdom. So the first 5, without wisdom kind of integrated, are called just collection of merit. So you can gain a lot of merit, right? But without really understanding the emptiness. Now this is a little bit tricky, right? Okay. Wisdom, last one, the 6th one. Wisdom refers to a understanding or the realization of no self, selflessness, which is also same as emptiness. So this is a little difficult, but Madhyamika philosophy is all about that. Madhyamika philosophy, the main thing is talking about this emptiness, this selflessness. Why there's no self, right? We are doing all of these things. A lot of people, as I mentioned before, when you are traveling in the train, everybody's busy doing what not. But then all of a sudden you think about, but no self, how come? Right? So it doesn't make sense. So that's why emptiness or the selflessness is that much difficult to understand. So it's not denying that part of self. It's not saying that nobody travels in this train today, right? Even though it is announced that at such and such time this train is going from this station to the next station. Yes, it is happening. And also, I am one of those who are traveling, and you are too. That part's not denying at all. However, we go further when we are not really thinking properly. We go further. We are thinking that it's true. This train today, that moving this from starting from this early morning till now, is a real thing. and it's permanent. It's it's going to be like this forever or something like that. We have this clinging to this kind of real thing. It's an ultimate thing. It's really there. But then that part, the thinking real, it's real. It's that part is the problem, and that's where then, of course, first Buddha, and then later on, making this a little bit easier to understand, like the explanations are given by great philosophers such as Nagarjuna. Nagarjuna said, "Oh, I'm not denying at all because we just had lunch. I'm not saying lunch is no self. I'm not saying that lunch is emptiness. It's not saying that." Nagarjuna is saying, "You enjoy it, I enjoy it, everybody enjoy it. Yeah, that is a real momo and real, whatever." Yet at the same time, when we say actually that momo is actually really real, right? It's ultimately real, then we are getting into trouble. So what is saying that selfless, no self means that really part, that is not there. Really means what? What are you talking about? In what way it is really there, or it's ultimately there? Then Nagarjuna, it goes through a lot of the exercises, investigation. For example, when I say, "Oh, I'm real, I'm truly real, so therefore I have attachment to myself." And that, from the Buddhist point of view, for Buddha himself said, no, there's no self, there's no you, right? Jordan, Buddha, for example, if he's communicating with me, what he's saying to me is, "Jordan, you are you for now, temporarily now. If you enjoy that part, that's fine. But if you add to it, thinking that you are really you, and therefore I attach, you try to, in order to save that, in order to protect that kind of really Jordan, and then you get into a lot of other activities of protecting that self. That part is called self-grasping, self-attachment to the self." Then Nagarjuna said, no, that's not there. Because if there is such a thing as Jordan, ultimately they are really there, then show me. Where is it? For example, I'm talking about me now. It doesn't make sense, right? Oh, Jordan's out there, real Jordan's out there. That's really, nobody will believe it. But that Jordan, if there is Jordan, really Jordan, it has to be somewhere here in this body, right? From top to the bottom, somewhere. This is what Nagarjuna and also the Shantideva did. For example, in Bodhicharya Avatara, Shantideva said, "Show me where's you. Go through your body from top to the bottom. Each single part of your body is not you. For example, if your hair is you, then how come there are hundreds and thousands of strands of hair, but you are just one? So it cannot be you, right? And this way, you go through each one of those parts of the body, you cannot find you. This is what selfless is all about. This is what Nagarjuna is saying. There's no really self. However, there's a temporary self, which enjoys, which does this. But that temporary self, the function of that temporary self is dependent on so many different things. There's not a single independent thing. Everything is dependent. So therefore, emptiness and the dependent is very much the same. Dependence and the emptiness are like two faces of one coin. One way it's empty, right? But this emptiness also doesn't mean nothing. This emptiness also means something that is not independent, something that's dependent on each other. So that's why Jordan is here, dependently here, temporarily here, due to all this, mouth and the nose and everything put together, then we labeled Jordan, right? But that Jordan is not ultimate. It's not actually really there. If it is really there, then more you search, then you have to find it. But more you search, you just end up finding nothing. And you get to so-called the emptiness or nothing. So that is the wisdom part of it, the sixth one. So when you combine this wisdom to rest of the five, then that each one is going to be like a perfection or paramita in Sanskrit. Paramita means, gone to the other shore. Paramita. I think it's Sanskrit word going to the other shore, paramita, the other shore, other side. Meaning from this world to this world is a mundane world. Now going from this world to other shore meaning super mundane, beyond this samsara, beyond this world, then you are in a different state. So that's why these practices, for example, generosity and morality or moral conduct, and patience, effort or diligence, all of these, when they are combined with this understanding of the selflessness, no self or emptiness, then all of them will be perfection or the paramita. So paramita meaning then two collections are combined together. By being generous, you are practicing generosity, you are already accumulating merit. At the same time, when you practice that generosity, you do not have this attachment to like, oh, I am the one who's giving, helping other people. Those people are the ones receiving this help from me. And then the object that I'm giving is also real. That kind of attitude, that kind of mistaken thought is not there when you have this selflessness understanding. But you're just doing it because due to causes, conditions, it has to happen. Yet at the same time, there's no essence, there's no real ultimate essence worthy of your attachment, worthy of your clinging, right? So that's why when you have that understanding, then generosity is going to be very comfortable, and it will give you a feeling or a sense of very freedom, like spaciousness. Because that part, when you have that spaciousness or the empty, very freedom feeling, yeah, then it means you are combining your generosity practice with the understanding of the emptiness or the selflessness. So combined together is always important, very important, right? But for the practice, in order to really become one's own practice very effective and something that is that you can feel, that you can like experience, right? Then you have to do exercise. For example, first you also have to practice yourself like I am real, okay? So I am real, and the other people are also real, similarly. And this object, the things that I'm giving is also real. And so a real person with this real object, whatever it is, I'm giving this, really giving this to a real person. That will give you a feeling of real. But that later on, that feeling of real also has to be minimized. So this is what, for example, the Atisha's great teacher, Selingpa, his name was Selingpa. And Selingpa, I think he was from Indonesia area. I think he was, one time he was in Indonesian island, Sumatra, particularly Aceh island. He was there. And it is mentioned in his biography that although he was a great Buddhist master, for the enhancement of his own bodhicitta practice, he focused practice mainly on using Hindu technique. Hinduism's practice of technique. Hinduism believe in soul. Okay, they believe in God, Ishvara, Creator God, as everything is God's will, and then it's real. God is the single one, singular. He is truly there, and they are trying to do what they are trying to do is that they try to become one with the God. That's their goal, right? So that's why for them the realness is important. So that's why Selimba tried to do this, like a real him, real feeling. And he mentions in his biography that that will give you a very strong feeling of really improving your own kind of mental state. But later on, then of course you have to combine this with the selflessness, no real, right? Temporarily they are there, they appear as, but for example, this morning's sadhana is full of it, or they appear like a space, yet it's not there, but not completely not there. They are there due to cause and condition, but not really there. If they are really there, each single has to be there. But no, you cannot see, if you separate single, dissect those things. The thing is actually a conglomeration or collection of things put together. But then we gave them a name for, like, as I said, me, I have a name, right? Similarly, this table. Where is the tableness? If you search for this in this rectangular, whatever the shape is, and we call the table, but where is the tableness? If there's a real table, it has to be the tableness. But you cannot find, because if you search, leg is leg, upper part, if you dissect everything, no table. Even each one of those leg in also, then you go deeper into, cannot be found leg as well. This is how you dissect, how you get to the why there's no self, right? It's very scientifically kind of proven to be reaching conclusion to that selflessness. It's not just believing in somebody. Buddha said so, or it's a God's word, or no. Because Buddha said, now, there's only one teacher in this whole kind of samsara or world who has that kind of confidence to say that don't just take it because I said so, but even my words, you take it, you analyze it, you like it, what goldsmith does with gold in order to find whether there's a real fine gold or not. No teacher has that kind of confidence to say. Many teachers said, oh, my words are God's words, so take it as it is, you believe it. Buddha never said, he said, just analyze it, examine it, and then if you find it has a meaning, take it, otherwise throw it away, right? So, I just use the table. Similarly, you cannot find me in this body all over, a real me, but temporary me is there. So when you combine these two together, like that kind of analytical selflessness, right? Right now, we only have that analytical understanding of selflessness. If you familiarize yourself with this understanding again and again, and then there will be a inner experience, inner feeling of that realization of the selflessness. So that is the real thing. That's the real realization of selflessness. But until then, it is still analytically kind of an examined conclusion of what selflessness is all about when we do that, right? So then, yeah, with this kind of wisdom understanding, then you can practice the generosity and moral discipline, diligence, effort, and patience, and samadhi, which means meditative concentration, right? Then, of course, the in terms of the generosity, then there are many different things you can do, and also practitioners are different in terms of the generosity. For example, ordained monks and nuns are not allowed to practice like giving wealth. They're supposed to not have wealth, but it's changing now. 21st century. Today, even some of the masters, monks and nuns are wealthier than some business people, right? So that's a totally different. But in general, in the Vinaya, the monks are supposed to live on alms begging, right? Whatever they get from devoted sponsors, they have to live on. They shouldn't have anything. They shouldn't touch money, or the gold and so forth and so on. But based on that, it is said the monks and nuns still have to practice generosity, but giving teachings. They have to give teachings, and they also they are allowed to give like a paper, ink, with which they can write the teachings, they can compose, things like that, right? But then the others then, are encouraged to give everything, but start from very small. Don't go with kind of emotion. Be real. So, as I mentioned before, Dharma practice means something has to change your mind. Practicing generosity has to be felt, okay? Not just go with the emotion, but slowly, you can actually develop this. The definition of the generosity is having a mind of giving. Giving tangible object is not important. That tangible giving object is not considered a full giving. The real giving is when you have a completely giving mind, giving thought, giving, when you develop that, that is the definition of giving, right? So that means, you can practice giving anywhere, anytime, in a way. For example, there are many things you can give that you own. And there are also many things that you don't own, but still you can give. Something you share in this world. For example, of course, something you don't own, but some other people own, you shouldn't give that. That is called stealing. But there are things that are not really owned by anybody, right? It's wild jungle, there are beautiful flowers, beautiful plants. You can imagine here, sitting in this room, and you're going to give those things also, mentally giving. So this way, the actual giving is, what is count in the mind. So that giving together with the emptiness at the end, you don't expect anything in return. That is called unconditional giving, right? In mundane language. But most important thing here again is in combination with this understanding of the selflessness. There's no me who is real, who is worthy of attachment, clinging, right? So then similarly, there's no really receiver who is so-called like a beggar. It's not real also. But temporarily, due to cause and conditions, we are practicing it and it's working, right? Yeah.
What you just mentioned about is giving things not belonging to me, right? But I was thinking when I practice, I would say a lot of time I say, all others merits also to do offering. Those do not belong to me, but I did that. So, but it's mentally, is it okay?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think you are doing a service to other people. Other people are not really like holding on to it, but they don't know how to offer their merit. But you are doing it, but you are not taking it. By offering it mentally, you are not making their merit less. You are not taking anything from them, but you are still doing it because for dedication, we offer everything on behalf of everybody, not just our own accumulation, but accumulations of our family members, including all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times. Whatever they accumulate, I also offer. That's mentally okay. It's not stealing at all.
Okay, so dedication is fine. But if
Dedication.
I do in the morning every time, and when I do offering as well, so I just say, like when I say, you offer all those continents, and also anything like in the heaven or the human realms, anything good.
Yes,
Definitely a lot of things do not belong to me.
that's right.
And so I'm also offering that also should be fine.
That's fine because in our prayers we do have that, right? But there is also one important point in those prayers, like offering prayers to the Dargye Yongsu Masuma meaning those things that are not particularly owned by anybody.
If it's on,
If it's owned, then you shouldn't take it.
I'm not physically taking it, but I took it in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
We special try up to finish it, but you
okay.
see they have topic.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So anyway, yeah, this way the generosity can be practiced like that, right? Giving everything, starting from very small things, like in Bodhicharya Avatara, you start with giving 1 glass of water, and from there, and then you will become so good at giving that it's like what Bodhisattvas do. When they hear somebody asking for something, the happiness that Bodhisattva received from such utterance of the words cannot be explained, he says. That much joy. So, this is how we check our mind, whether our mind is becoming better and better, and at the end becoming like something like that. And then also when you read past stories of the Buddha when he was on the path, of course he was practicing generosity one time, and he was giving away everything, including his own children, and of course his everything he owns, including his children, his wife, and then to the point of his own life also, right? And those are very high-level bodhisattva practice of generosity. But we get there. We will also be able to get there And a similar, like another story is the very famous one right now is in actually Nepal. When you visit Nepal, there is this Namu Buddha. That is a holy land, and that is connected with our Buddha's past life when he was born as a prince one time, a youngest of I think three princes. So then he gave his life to a hungry tigress. And so that holy part, holy place is there in Nepal. It's a long time ago, long time ago, right? So yeah, this is the generosity when you have the perfected generosity, then really nothing is problem, nothing is difficult. Okay, so then moral discipline, meaning moral discipline, I think it refers to a lot of things. Whatever we do, we have to have discipline. We have to have and then very specific ones are like when you take some vow, that is moral discipline or moral conduct. And in terms of the vow, there is the Patimoksha vow that you can take, and also the Bodhisattva vow and the Vajrayana vow, 3 vows. Patimoksha vow, there's the lay Patimoksha vow, like 24-hour, taking vow, or maybe the lifetime lay upasaka, upasaki vows. And then there's the shamanera, the novice monk vow, and then the bhikshu, bhikshuni vow, the full ordained vows. Those are the Patimoksha vow, Patimoksha. And the Bodhisattva vow, there are also many different higher, lower Bodhisattva vows, and also in terms of the duration, again, 24-hour to, long time or lifetime and things like that. Bodhisattva vow can be taken again and again. But Patimoksha vows are very strict. There are, for example, and depending on which particular tradition you follow. For example, the Tibetan Buddhist Vinaya system or the tradition is called Mula Sarva Asibadin tradition. In Tibetan, is Shitamchi Yopal Mawa. So that's one tradition. In that tradition, you take monks or nuns vow one time, lifetime. And then you go to Theravada, they have different. For example, somebody can also take a bhikshu vow for 1 week or 1 month and shorter period of time, and then you give back. But in theory, the Mula Sarva Astivadin vow tradition in Tibetan Buddhism too, we have that leverage. Like if you think that you cannot really be monk anymore, instead of losing the vow, you can offer the vow back. You can do that. And I think in this way, you can take again, maybe 3 times in theory. But the Theravadins, they are very open, For example, in Thailand, I think, and in Sri Lanka, I'm not so sure, but Thailand, all the male will become at least 1 week monk in their lifetime. Sri Lanka, I'm not very sure, but they also might have that tradition. Many do that. But in Tibetan Buddhism, we don't have that, like all male becoming monk for one week or so, something like that didn't exist yet. So that's the second moral discipline part. Then the effort or the diligence, right? Of course, in order to achieve the Buddhahood, you have to accumulate those 2 accumulations, merit and wisdom. And in order to accomplish that, you need effort or the diligence. Otherwise, you will easily give up. For example, particularly Mahayana practices are not easy. Helping other people, putting other before oneself is easier said than done. But in order to succeed, you really have to have a lot of diligence plus patience. These are needed for one to be able to achieve one's goal. So, when you all of this, you perfected first the generosity and then the moral conduct and then diligence and then patience. Now everything is like an accumulation part of the merit is very much done. But now you have to actualize that from within meditation. So that's why you need a meditation training, and that is called samadhi, meditative concentration training, right? And that's involving like again shamatha and vipassana, two things. Shamatha meaning one-pointed concentration. All the meditation need that. Without shamatha, you cannot meditate. Again, I remind you, meditation is an English word, Judeo-Christian word we learned, we used, but actual word in Sanskrit is bhavana. And the bhavana is translated into Tibetan as gom. So gom actually means familiarizing yourself, getting used to something. So that is then in English is very easy like meditation. So I don't know what really meditation means from their own language point of view. What is involved? Because this is a Judeo-Christian word, right? And maybe Judeo-Christian, they have this essence in it. What the really essence of this word meaning? But the Sanskrit, bhavana, Tibetan gom, meaning some kind of new experience that you have to familiarize yourself with, because it's not easy, and also it can get lost or you might forget it. So that's why you have to repeat this, do it again and again, through which then you become better and better with that particular experience or that particular realization, that particular finding, whatever you call it. That finding will go away if you don't practice it, if you don't make it habituated with you, right? So you have to be familiarized with yourself with that particular experience, and then one day it become one with your own mind, and it never goes away. So that is the purpose of this meditative concentration or bhavana. In another word for that also is samten in Tibetan. Samten, sampa meaning the thought, ten meaning very stable, like calm, not flickering, not kind of jumping around. It's always calm and very stable. So this is what the fifth practice does, like familiarizing yourself by training yourself in shamatha. Then you have very calm, abiding state of the mind. Your mind is very calm and stable. Then you can utilize your mind into anything. Until then, your mind will not listen. It's very, Mijun calls it a monkey mind. Our mind is like a monkey. It jumps around. It's very, very difficult to control. But with this training of shamatha, then you will know where your mind is going, what it is doing, and how you can actually direct mind into something that you like to place in, right? So this way, then your state of the mind being in that selflessness combined with morality or generosity or patience, whatever, will be very, very effective. So then that, that kind of practice is already a combined practice of paramita, or the perfection of these 6 different things. Okay, now we have some time left for question answer.
What about the vipassana?
Vipassana is the selflessness I already explained.
Okay.
Getting into that ultimate nature of selflessness, emptiness. That's the vipassana. So in Tibetan we go shine laktong. Tong means seeing. Lak means something extra. So it means you have never seen this before in your life. As long as you are a human being, you are seeing this first time is laktong, right? And through this meditation. But then for that reason, also when you, through this kind of practice, when you actually realize the first state of the super mundane state, that is also called tonglam in Tibetan, talking about the path, right? There are 5 paths. The first 2 are mundane path. When we say that I am on the path, I am practicing path. So that means what? Again, in Buddhism, you have to have something there. So when you enter into the path, you are entering into 5 different paths, like gradually. The first path is the path of accumulation, right? So it's very much like entering into university. For example, you have 4 years of undergraduate, and those are different names at the beginning, and then later on, what do you call that? Final, or those are different things, right? Similarly, in Buddhist path, you enter into path. The very first one is called path of accumulation, and then that path of accumulation gets better, and you become very good at it. And then your next stage, promotion, would be like a path of application. These 2 are still mundane path, but you achieve very good attainment. You are now equipped with so many great qualities, because with these kinds of qualities, being a teacher, being a master, something like that, you may be able to see many different things and help people with so many different excellences. So there are many different things, of course. But another thing is also, when you attain the second path of application, but you are guaranteed that you will not fall back to the samsara. You will not fall back to the lower realms, because those paths are also then divided into, like for example, path of accumulation, very first one, is divided into small, medium, and the large. But these are divided that way depending on your based on your accomplishment. At the very beginning you are the novice, right? So that's called a small part of accumulation, and then you get better. You have certain now achievement, and then you are now promoted, and then now you are on the medium state of the path of accumulation, and then finally the third one, large or great, maybe great state of the path of accumulation. After that, then you no longer in the path of accumulation, you are now promoted, you are to the path of application. The path of application also has 3 different divisions. And part of application are actually four stages. Okay, so those are not, this time it's not small, medium, no, it's not like that. This time each one has a name. The very first one is called warmth, because its name is given to a person's experience at that time. You have now inner realization that gives you some kind of feeling of warmth. So that's why part of application, the warmth part of application, the warmth stage part of application, and then after that, your achievement again goes up, and then it's called zemo. Zemo means pinnacle, some kind of tip of something. The pinnacle part of application, zemo is called zemo in Tibetan, zemo. Then third one is called patience. Patience part of application. And the fourth one is called chencho, meaning the supreme dharma, supreme phenomena, supreme dharma of the part of application. And so by achieving these stages, the warmth doesn't have any particular kind of specialty, but the second one, zemo, the pinnacle. When you achieve that, when you attain that state, then you are guaranteed from then on, you will never lose your virtue. So until then, no matter how much virtue accumulated, if you are in the wrong kind of path, one very strong anger can also dissolve or diminish all your good things, There's that kind of danger if you are not properly doing it. But when you achieve this pinnacle of part of application, you are guaranteed you never lose your virtue. We call it, meaning give it out, you'll never cut off. You are always okay. Then by achieving patience, in Tibetan, meaning when you achieve that state of part of application, it's guaranteed you don't have to reborn in the three lower realms, like animal realm, Holy Ghost realm, and hell realm, right? Then the fourth one is Chocho, meaning the Supreme Dharma. Supreme Dharma in what sense? In what way? So it means now this is the very final stage of the mundane path. There's no mundane world beyond that. So that's why it's called very last, very final, the best of the mundane path. So that's why Supreme Dharma. Because beyond that, then you are in the supermundane, bodhisattva path. And that path is also called, now you have already done the part of accumulation, part of application. Now, third part is a part of seeing. In Tibetan, it's called Thongnam, Darshana Marga in Sanskrit. Thongnam, why Thongnam? Thong means to see, and the path. So this time, you see something you never saw before. You have never been to that world. You have always been like all these lifetimes, right? Eons, you are in samsara, which means a mundane world, just rotating up and down, right? So you are going through that supermundane path the first time. So that's why that path is called path of seeing, very first time. The path of seeing is very short period because it's talking about the very first experience of something you saw first time. And so this part of seeing is very, very short because it is talking about an experience of a person in his or her meditation session. It's meditative equipoise. And so how long it is, that kind of experience going to last, has a lot of debate, but I think it's safe to say that the minimum longevity of that path of seeing is 16 momentariness. 16 momentariness means very short, because when you do this snapping, it says that, during that period, how many momentariness? Maybe 60 momentariness is gone. So we are talking about 16 momentariness, very short. Why 16? Because during that time, during that meditative equipoise, the practitioner has to realize the ultimate nature of the Four Noble Truths. First time realization of Four Noble Truths. These Four Noble Truths, how that person experiences as like 16 aspects to it. Each Noble Truth has 4 aspects. So together 16. So that person at least has to have that much time to experience it. So that's why, logically speaking, it is said that 16 momentariness is the duration of the longevity of that path of seeing. And then afterwards, now where that person is, path of meditation. Path of meditation is very long, particularly from the minor point of view. Then path of seeing starts the first bhumi, first stage of the bodhisattva path. And from first stage of the bodhisattva path to the 10th stage of the bodhisattva path, all of this during this time is called path of meditation. And then after 10th bhumi, 10th stage of bodhisattva path, 11th stage bodhisattva path, it is not even bodhisattva, 11th stage is called Buddhahood. Samyak Sambuddha stage, right? So, so that's why I think that's it.
We here, so got a few minutes. Is it from YouTube? Is okay.
Yeah.
So, from YouTube.
Any questions?
If no one has questions, I have more questions.
So one special question here.
Sorry. Let
It's
them
okay.
ask. Let them ask.
Anthony, yes.
Does anyone have any questions on any of the students on Zoom?
Yeah, any question will be fine, but it doesn't have to be on 6 parameter.
Yeah, we couldn't hear. If you real question, then we need to.
If no one asks, can I ask more?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I heard they say the first bhumi, some people, I heard some say, and they will go back. But some say if you have to be reaching 7 bhumi, and otherwise you still have the chance to go back. So what?
No.
No.
As I said, after attaining patience state of path of application,
So no.
nobody goes back unwillingly.
Oh,
I say unwillingly, but bodhisattva can willingly go.
okay.
Mhm.
So when someone asked me about the deity, they said when we practice the sadhana, the deity, what's the deity really is, compared to like when we say the Buddha has the 3 bodies, right? And then this deity is that if it's not Nirmanakaya, so is that the Rupakaya? Is that the right word?
Yes, Rupakaya.
Rupakaya is Rupakaya.
Yes.
So will that change?
Yeah.
It will change too?
Should-
Rupakaya,
Yeah.
like deity, when we're saying, because when we say Nirmanakaya and it's changing, if you age, you're just like us, right? But Rupakaya, I feel like it should not change.
No, Rupakaya change. Rupakaya means having a body. physical body. So that changes.
That change.
Yeah, changes. It's subjected to change.
So
Yes.
deity also change too.
Definitely.
They will die too.
Yeah, because Shakyamuni died, you know.
That's Nirmanakaya, right?
Nirmanakaya is also Rupakaya.
Oh, so
Rupakaya
then
has
what's the deity then?
Rupanakaya has two.
Oh.
Okay, one is Sambhogakaya and another one Nirmanakaya.
Oh, Sambhogakaya.
Sambhogakaya.
So the deity is the Sambhogakaya.
No, deity is also Nirmanakaya as well.
Deity is also Nirmanakaya.
Yes.
Then what's this Sambhogakaya then?
So deity is general name. Okay. And in terms of talking about the deity, there is the Dharmakaya and there is the Rupakaya, and within the Rupakaya there is the Sambhogakaya and then also the Nirmanakaya.
Yeah.
So all of them are deities.
So then.
Deity means what? Deity is also English word. Okay. We call it Yidam. Yidam is Yidam. So generally it can be Yidam. Manjushri can be Yidam. Shakyamuni is Yidam. And Hevajra is Yidam. And Vajradhara is with Yidam. So therefore, all of them, for example, Vajradhara is Dharmakaya, right? And others are also Rupakayas.
So what's the difference? What's special about this idam then when we do some dana? When we imagine this deity or this idam in front of us, and what's, because I was thinking
What special you are looking for when you are doing sadhana?
I do not really looking for something special. I was
Then
thinking
you
it's
say,
quality.
what is the
It's my friend asking me, what's the idam? What do you talk about idam? And something like that. So
the yidam is the yidam. For example, when you are doing a sadhana of Hevajra, Hevajra is a set of yidam. Okay, it appear to certain, for example, people in ancient India, maybe for example, when Biwa Baba was initiated in the Hevajra mandala by Hevajra's consort, Nairat Maya, then he was introduced to Hevajra in this way, like whatever we read in the sadhana, like in this many hands, this gesture like this, and color like this, and that is Hevajra. Then his qualities are also mentioned, right? That's you can introduce this to your friend like that, right?
So, but they're not. They will not like us dying, something like that.
They are, because they are in a way, because they are not real, same as us. They are not real. Ultimately, they are not dying, but otherwise they are dying because, for example, we invited them when we are doing sadhana. At the end of the sadhana, we also send them off. But then in your mind, these are also due to cause and conditions, and also a skillful means you are inviting them in a relative sense. Ultimate sense, there is no Hevajra, there is no you. Right? So that's why it's equal, same. So whether you call it dying or not, there are on a conventional level, on the relative level, you can say their non-existence is like equal to the death.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, because you dissolve them. You dissolve them into dharma tatu or space or something like that. So it means they don't exist anymore, which is equivalent to say.
This is logic.
Yeah.
That was born with the part of the Kushandaga, with us deity, they drive for us. No, they not drive themselves. They drive for us.
Yeah, but when you're talking about physical death, there's a little difference between these yidam, like a Hevajra, and others. The Hevajras are not here physically, like they don't have this flesh and bones and things like that. But we invited them, and in your visualization, you see them like real. However, they don't have tangible kind of substance, but they are like a rainbow, like light. But that light can also be, dissolved, which is equivalent to death.
Okay. So actually, it's another explanation of
That's
death.
right. That's right. That's right. Because the certain yidams do not have physical body. They appear in the form of a light of rainbow, and they too do not last long. Also impermanent. Impermanent means the impermanent goes through, life-changing death and those things. So then dissolving them into Dharma Dhatu is like a death.
I see.
What do you say?
Yeah, and we conclusion prayer.
Yeah, conclusion prayer. Oh yeah. Closing prayers. So we read this in English, okay?
You normally you do. Yeah.
Glorious Guru, precious one, sit
Seated
upon
on
a
the
lotus on the crown of my head.
Look at me with your great kindness, and bestow accomplishments of body, speech, and mind, I pray.
For this realm, encircled by snow-covered mountains, you are the source of every benefit and bliss without exception. Tenzin Gyatso, you who are the one with Avalokiteshvara,
May you remain steadfast until samsara's end. Kunga, line of conduct divine, giving joy and benefit to all, honor of the great and sacred path, wish-fulfilling great king, please live long.
Powerful voice, sovereign master of the Bhumi, endowed with the 10 powers, Lord of learned ones,
bring joy to them all, great guide to samsara and nirvana, best of all guides, foremost among guides, powerful conqueror, mightiest of conquerors, please live long. Wonderful manifestations of the stainless con lineage, combining the depths of the three races of knowledge, loving kindness, and power into one, essence of the three jewels, who magnificently gives joy to living beings, crown ornament of Ajardhara, please live long. The light touched by the blessings of the Manjushri Master manifests in the beautiful shy of the Sakya tradition. To the great Sherpa, son of the Dharma, who ripens the lotuses of fortunate disciples, I pray. By the blessings of the triple gem, by the power of the virtuous ones, Dharma holders, line of Manjushri, live long, may your deeds like the Buddhas grow. Praying for our teachers' perfect health, praying for our teachers' ageless lives, praying that the river will
grow and spread,
not to part from them
all
of
lives
this
peace.
life. May they have firm lives mountain like. May they hold the teachings still alike. May their fame and glory spread through space. Through their good works gain we happiness.
Through this merit, all attain
omniscience and conquer the enemy wrong action. May all be free from samsara's ocean and its thundering waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. Just as the Bodhisattva Manjushri attained omniscience, and Samanthabhadra too, all these merits now I dedicate to train and follow in their footsteps. Just as all the victorious Buddhas of 3 times praised dedication as supreme, now I dedicate all these roots of virtue so that all beings may perfect good actions. May the Sakya teachings which illuminate the doctrine and are our excellent protector against the northern regions increase in this land of glacial peace, which is filled with the ocean of learned and realized masters. May the spiritual and secular influence of splendid Sakya, the Vajra seed in the central glacier Tibet, increase. May the hereditary lineage of emanations continue without break, and may all its activities equal the expansive space. Teacher means Pandita Dharma King, Lord of Knowledge, Arya Manjushri. May all the auspicious with the teachings of the second Buddha, the Guru Sakya, remain for a long time to come. Vajradhara, embodiment of the three Vedas, of all the infinite Buddhas of the 10 directions, heralded by the Buddha Kungsangpo, may all be auspicious with his teaching remaining for a long time to come.
Thank you very much, Khenpo, for this precious and profound teaching.